Welcome back. Keeping an eye on your money. Taxes are a hot topic this time of year, and especially this year because of an approaching fiscal cliff the country is facing. Well, joining us today is Kay Bell. She has a tax blog called Don't Mess with Taxes, and she's here with some helpful tips this morning. And Kay, we could talk about this for hours, but just trying to simplify it down to a couple bullet points. What do you recommend people do?
At the end of the year, you have to get everything done by December 31st, or most everything. You can do an IRA up until the filing deadline, but for most things you have to make your moves by the 31st. So you need to think about things like giving to your favorite charity, selling some stock. You can sell it if you want to take in gains and lock in the low tax rate that's current now. And you also can sell stock that you've lost money on, and you can offset any other gains that way. If you have a flexible spending account, it's also sometimes called a flexible saving account, or FSA, that you put money in to pay for medical expenses that aren't covered by your insurance. You need to spend that down because it has a use it or lose it provision, so you don't want to waste that. So those are some key ones. Pay your property taxes early if you itemize.
Right. School tuition, I think, is another one.
Yeah, school tuition is a good one this year because the American Opportunity Act, which gives a $2,500 credit per student. It is technically going to expire at the end of this year, but if you pay tuition for a next spring semester, you can use that to claim it on your 2012 taxes this year in case they don't renew it for 2013.
I know a lot of people like to use a tax pro to prepare those documents. How do you pick a good one? Well,
the best way to start is to talk to people who do use tax professionals, because you'll get an honest opinion of whether they like that person, how well they work with them. You need to then talk to them, see what area they specialize in, see if they can deal with your particular needs. And it's a good time to do it because, especially with all the chaos that's going on, they're going to be booking up early next year, so you want to start talking to someone soon.
Well, if they can't reach a deal in Washington, what could this possible fiscal cliff mean to the average American household?
I think the big thing here, we hear a lot of talk about, there was the millionaire tax that Speaker Boehner couldn't get through his own caucus. But there's also, among the tax rates that are going up, that might go up on the top two tax brackets, there's a 10% tax bracket that was created as part of the Bush-era tax cuts. And if we go off the fiscal cliff, that 10% tax bracket disappears, so suddenly all of our money will start being taxed at a minimum of 15% instead of 10%. So it could mean something to even those of us who are far from being millionaires.
Right. Interesting. Well, what can people do to prepare ahead for next year? Well,
really, unfortunately, not a lot right now. We kind of have to wait to see what they're going to do. I think there is a will in Congress to get something done, particularly for the middle class. I mean, it's a big political issue, and there are just so many people. I think what is probably going to happen is that they're going to come back and work out a deal, and it may be retroactive, which is frustrating, but basically you just need to stay ahead of things, talk to your tax pro, and then if anything happens in January, they'll probably give you time to backtrack on it. They write laws retroactively all the time.
A good look at your blog right here. It's called Don't Mess with Taxes. You just Google Don't Mess with Taxes. It'll pop right up. Kay Bell, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
All right. David Young.